So welcome back to Leo Works Outlaw, and welcome back to Project Boxster S. So what I'm doing with this car is I picked it up at the end of last summer, drove it for a short while, about a month and a half. Didn't have time to do any maintenance or do any checks. I just wanted to enjoy the end of the summer. I was working a lot on my other car, which I had recorded, and I apologize for the bad recordings and the lack of recordings. I'm new to this recording stuff, and I'm not very good at it. So a lot of it didn't turn out. Trying to still put some of it together, so at least it's something, and trying to do the best I can, and I'm trying to learn as I go. So this is on Udemy again. All the maintenance, I'm going through some manuals and just trying to figure out just basic maintenance. So what I want trying to do is just do all the maintenance that's required before I get it back on the road. I'm up here in Canada. It is cold in the winters, long winters. Summers aren't too bad, but anyway, summer's right around the corner. It's springtime right now. It is middle of April. So once again, I started recording on this, and for whatever reason it didn't record, so I extremely am sorry and I apologize for that. What I've done is I've drained the oil and topped it up, and I drained the transmission. I drained it from last week, and it was just sitting over a week. I don't have a lot of time due to my busy work schedule and just busy with life and stuff, so I try to get up here at the shop for once a week and do as much as I can, what little time I have. Okay, so anyways, let's get on to what I've done so far. I'll show you what I've done, and I'll give you some little tips that I've learned. Again, this is on Udemy, and I'm learning as I go, so I'll show you what I've done. Okay, so first thing you want to do is to jack up the car, put it on stands. Remember, safety first all the time. So what I've done is I've jacked up the car on all four corners, trying to keep the car as level as possible, because the plan was to do the transmission, and that needs to be level. Actually, the changing the oil of the car should be relatively level as well. So what you can do first is you can jack it up from this corner, this bar here in the center, right where this mount is. That's strong enough. What I do is I'll jack it up from there, and then I put the engine stands on the factory jacking points, which is right there and right there. You'll see a little boss coming out from the end of the rockers, and then once that happens, then I've removed the jack. So you're going to need to remove this plate right here, which goes right here. It covers the transmission and the engine. You'll need to remove, there's four, I think they're 15 mil bolts. Actually, there's five. There's four here, and then there's one at the end. You may have to adjust your stand. And then there's two bolts, I think they were here on a cross member here. So once that's removed, then you have access to everything. So I drain the engine oil. Engine oil drain is there. Oil filters here. This is a 2001 Boxster S, so it has a oil filter cartridge in a plastic. So once I drain that, top it up. Let me just check. I think the filter, hang on, give me a second, I'll just check. I can't remember what the torquing specs were. So the drain plug torque spec is 37 foot-pounds. The oil filter is 19 foot-pounds. The one thing they highly recommend, especially with these engines, the Boxster and the 911 or 996s, is the IMS bearing failure. So what they recommend is every time you change the oil filter, to cut it open and inspect it. You want to inspect for shiny bits of metal, any kind of metal, and large pieces of metal. Actually, any kind of metal, I would think. So I'll show you what that looks like. There's the oil filter. I haven't cut it open yet. Just quickly visually looking at it, everything looks good. I don't see any metal, but I will be cutting that open. Try to probably cut it on the ends, and then I'll open up all and look inside all the pleats, looking for any bits of metal. And that will be signs of bearing failure. And if I do see that, the car will have to be parked immediately, and that will have to be sorted out. Fortunately, like I said, here's the plugs. I will get to that in a minute, and we'll deal with that. Again, I recorded that. And it, for whatever reason, didn't record, but we'll go over that again. There is the oil that I used. I'm not sponsored by AMSOIL, but if they are willing to sponsor me, go ahead and reach out. But there is the oil I use there. It's 540 they recommend. I'm up in the colder climates, but realistically I could use anything from 540, 1040, even I think it's 1050 you can use, if I'm not mistaken. It takes 8.25 liters, and for the American friends in the south, it's 8.7 quarts approximately is what it takes. I'll show you now the Boxsters. Here's a dipstick, oil fill, and coolant fill is here. So that's where you top it up. Okay, let's get back to underneath the car. Okay, one more thing now, onto the transmission. There's been a lot of controversy with my car trying to figure out where the oil fill plug is for the transmission. All sources that I've been looking at say that the fill is on this housing, on this side, just above the axle. I have nothing there. I'll try to get in there so you can see there's nothing there to fill. Dealer said that it's either there or here, and sure enough, there it is right there. There's the fill plug there, and the drain is there. Now I drained this the last time I was here, and I just let it sit over the week. I did drive it the first time, warm up the oil, and then I ran into some issues and ran out of time, so I wasn't able to drain it while the engine was hot. So I thought the next best thing would be just to drain the oil and let it sit over a week. This way all the oil could slowly drip out. It's the best I can do for now. Next time I'll do it properly where the engine or transmission is warm, and then we'll drain it again. Okay, so that's that. Let's get to that. So I'm going to torque the drain. Actually, I'm going to top that up, and I will torque the drain and the fill, and that will be... Okay, so I just wrote everything down. The transmission fill is 22 foot-pounds or 264 inch-pounds. And that's a transmission drain, 22 foot-pounds or 264 inch-pounds. The fill, couldn't really find a spec. I know that there's no, couldn't find, as I said, the spec, and it doesn't necessarily be as tight. So I'm going to do it approximately 18 to 20 foot-pounds, which is 216 to 240 foot-pounds. So that is that. The fill for the transmission was, what did the dealer tell me? Let me try to remember that. Oh yeah, okay, so I just remembered the fill is you just fill it to, what's the saying they say? Fill to the drop, which means you're filling it to the fill hole up until it starts dripping out, and then that's it. I struggled trying to find proper transmission oil, and they say it needs to be very specific. So I just broke down and didn't want to mess around, and I went to the dealer. It's extremely expensive oil, at least up here in Canada. I paid, I think it was $55 a liter plus taxes. I think it was $55 or $60, I don't remember exactly, and I got 3 liters. They said it would be approximately 2.5 to 2.7 liters to fill it up. So no other choice but to buy 3 of them. So this is what it looks like right from the dealer, and opposite side is there. Okay, so we're going to torque the drain and the fill, and then we'll get back to it. I was just looking through 101 Projects for Your Boxster by Wayne Dempsey. Amazing guy, very knowledgeable. And I made a mistake. The 22, regarding the transmission fill and drain plugs, the 22 foot-pounds is for the automatic, not the manual. I have a manual 6-speed, and the book states 18 foot-pounds for the drain, which is equivalent to 216 inch-pounds. So I'll probably do the fill plug, I don't know, between 15 to 18, probably between 15 and 16 foot-pounds, which is 180 to 192 inch-pounds. If anybody knows the correct torque for the fill plug, if you can message me. I couldn't find it. I'm not sure what it is. I've skimmed through the whole procedure for the transmission oil fill. Couldn't find it. Okay, so I'm going to get to the transmission, torquing the drain, and I will top it up. Drain plugs do require a crush washer. In this case, I got an aluminum one. I got it from the dealer. You always want to replace these every time you change the oil. The drain plug on my car, I think the drain and the fill are both identical. Take a 10 mil hex to tighten them up. So I will be tightening this with a new crush washer. This is the drain plug here. It is metal. I will be torquing that up to 216 inch-pounds or 18 foot-pounds. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the plugs. They're extremely difficult to video because it's so tight in here, but just to show you, there's the 3 plugs. There's let me see if I can get it with my hand. So there's one there, and one up front. Oops, I just dropped the coil. The coils bolt in like so with a 10 mil bolt. So you unplug the coils, the electrical connectors, and then just pop them out. And socket, you'll need a deep socket with an extension to pop them out. Got all the plugs out. They're actually in pretty good shape, considering they've probably been in there a while. They're like a light brown. They're actually in good shape. Probably could reuse them, but you know what? I don't know when the last time these were put in. Actually, they do look like they're in good shape. I don't know when was the last time they were put in. So I'm going to replace them. So I got them out with a 5/8 spark plug socket. I like these. It's got the rubber insert. I don't know if you can see it. It's got a rubber insert on the inside. I'll pull them out, and I'll be putting in the brews. Came out. They are I think heat setting of 6. Yeah, and I'm going to use the same heat setting of 6 going in. I'm using Bosch. Same thing with the 4 electrical 4 grounds on it. So that'll be installed. They do specify on do not put any anti-seize on it. I noticed they were binding on the way out. It's steel on aluminum, so you're going to get a dissimilar metal binding, or what do they call it, galling. There's all different kinds of terms. I'm not sure if it's really allowed, but I'm just going to put literally maybe a half a drop of oil on it, just a half a drop. It'll probably burn off and once the engine gets up temperature, but just to help to get it in without binding. Okay, so I'm going to be putting in the rest of the 4 or all 6 plugs back in. And that was about it. I ran out of time. I had to leave quickly. It got late, so I will continue when I get back to the shop, and I will update you on everything else I'm doing. So if you like, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. It helps the channel. Stay tuned. There's a lot more projects coming on this car and others as well. Thanks. Stay safe and be kind to others. Have a good one.